Yeah. Hey, Smalley, cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for
Cheers,
the beer.
man.
Thanks
Here
for
we
the
go.
beer.
Cheers. Yeah.
Got a little 6 cents oatmeal raisin. What is it? Afla Blanca?
Yeah,
Alpha Blanca.
I picked it up because of the Alpha Blanca, which is their kind of a lighter beer, but has a coffee flavor.
Yeah.
And it looks like they dumped a little oatmeal raisin cookie into it to
Can't be bad.
add a little holiday.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So-
Ooh. That's
Pretty-
nice.
Pretty tasty.
Yeah. I haven't had one for a while.
Yeah, that's good.
I haven't had I just haven't had a craft beer for a while. They've come a long way with their canning, haven't they?
Yeah, man, they have. They've really got it going there.
You know,
So,
my,
what are we going to talk about tonight?
my brother was in town a week or so ago. He's got some buddies there in Westerville. He's a assistant principal in Westerville.
Yeah.
And he has some buddies that come to him and say, "Hey, you're from Jackson, right?" I said, "Yeah." And I said, "My favorite beer on the planet is 6 cents."
Yeah.
And so we coordinated a little trip.
Ooh.
And he brought those buddies with him. One of them brought his wife. And Jennifer and Jamie were kind enough to give them a tour of the facility and all that, where they got to see how they can and the brewing process and all that stuff. They were just absolutely thrilled. So kind of interesting that people from Columbus suburb are coming to Jackson.
I got the same experience, man. Two guys I used to work with, actually 3 of them, got on like you see 6 cents in a lot of those tap rooms in Columbus, man.
A ton of them.
Yeah, like a lot of Merc juice up there and stuff, and now it's even going out a little beyond that. And those guys love it.
No doubt.
So when they come down here, man, that's where they want to go. And now they're wanting to see the new place, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a great trip. And so I figured, hey, I need to bring in some beer to represent our local brewery and our good friends there at 6 Cents.
Yeah, we've been doing our best to keep them open, man. I mean, you know.
From the beginning.
Yes. I mean, we've been with them for a long time.
No doubt.
And then
No doubt.
You're up there a ton.
My family, we're getting used to the new menu, man. My kids were all about those burritos, dude. I mean, we would get those about once a week.
We were too. I'm a little bit sorry to see that go, honestly.
Yeah,
You know, without a Chipotle, I know we have
Oh, they don't have to do the burritos anymore?
No.
it's not on the menu.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind seeing it. I'm not criticizing. I mean, I'm very happy with what they've got going there, but I would not mind seeing that burrito resurface on the menu.
I think they've dared to make it a special every now and then. That's what I've heard.
Okay.
Oh, that'd be a draw.
Yeah.
Burrito night.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they do the tacos and burritos and stuff. They do that right, man.
They do. Yeah. Those burritos are
But now, I
delicious.
mean, that new menu is they spent some time on that. I mean, there's some unique food on there.
Yeah,
It's
it's really
really
good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you done the pickles yet with the mozzarella?
Yeah, yes.
It's kind of got
Like a pickle egg roll.
yeah, like an egg roll kind of a
yeah.
flair to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Pickle.
I mean,
mozzarella
hey,
cheese.
maybe this shows
I
my age, but I really like the hummus plate.
Oh, no,
I
we
do
did. That's our favorite thing.
Yeah, I mean
we
that's
ordered
my
every time.
favorite. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean to sit there and just have a few cold ones and graze on that. That's
We get it every time. My wife loves it.
if you had one place to go eat dinner, and if somebody said, hey, wherever you want, where would it be
On the planet,
on the planet?
man, one of my favorite restaurants is called the Southern in Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville is just a cool
it is.
city to go visit. And it's an upscale restaurant, but
That mic up there, George.
just about a block from Broadway Street, and steaks and fish and all that kind of thing. But they have I like raw oysters a lot,
Oh yeah,
and they have a full oyster menu there. You know, a lot of other restaurants you can get oysters, but I've never been handed an oyster menu, kind of like a wine menu.
yeah, and you got to pick what you know.
Yeah, so do you like them small, or do you like them fat, or do you like them salty, or you like them East Coast or West Coast or North or South? And they know everything about them.
What do you like?
Well, I'm not really sure. I mean,
West Coast oysters.
I don't know.
I've dabbled with some of them, and I can never.
Tell
You can definitely tell a difference.
Should
You
be able
taste it,
to.
but I've never run into one that I don't like.
Yeah, it's kind
mean,
of same.
yeah.
But yeah, sweeter, saltier, all kinds of different. So that one, the Southern in Nashville, Tennessee, certainly comes to mind, man. That's a cool place.
Man, I'll tell you, I like food. I mean, this is going to be kind of cliched, man, but I really like just a really good steak at either Ruth's Chris or Eddie Merlot's or Redlands, or what is that? J. Alexander's. I mean,
any of those high end steak joints. That's your
I
dream
like
meal.
It's probably my death row meal.
Oh, now I don't know about that. Death row meal's a little bit different.
Okay.
Okay, that's what you like. But I'm saying if you could go anywhere that you wanted to go,
Yeah.
I would probably pick downtown China, and I would like to go in one of those like back chefs that'll cook you like cobra.
Oh my. Okay.
I'd like to try something like that.
Wild shit.
Yeah.
Did you say death row and then you described what you just described?
Well, yeah. I mean, but you can go into those things and they'll cook you some.
Oh yeah.
I mean, stuff that you can only get over there, and I'd like to try that sometime.
We have at my work in Columbus, we have a partnership with Hyde Park.
Oh man, yeah, it's great.
And so I was
their
able,
wagyu.
I was able to take the girls there for kind of a holiday dinner and whatnot. Man, it's just what a fantastic.
I forgot to mention that one.
I mean,
man.
not only the food. I mean, the food is just absolutely out of this world, but the service that you get it's really an event. I mean, we were there for 3 hours. We had multiple servers taking care of us. I mean, it's really, really, really unbelievable.
Well, that's one of the things about this,
always talking about tips.
the higher end restaurants like that. Like it truly is an experience.
Oh, no doubt.
and it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you just expect the service to be great, and it always is.
It is. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
Good ones have it dialed in.
No doubt.
The good ones have, you've got your one-offs here and there that have their own system.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the most part, it's a suit and tie. It's those ones are. Yeah. I was thinking about that the other day. We should still do the suit and tie party we talked about.
Yeah, that'd be fun, man.
I think just a basically an adult prom. Only it would be like our banquet.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about this idea. So what's the venue?
We're talking about renting out a venue.
Yeah, we did that thing with Donnelly that night, that singer-songwriter. So we could make a suit and tie event,
right.
have a real high-end dinner, have somebody bring in or have them cook it on the spot. Just do something cool. Get some songwriters, put them on stage, have give away like some awards for whoever got the most streams or views and all time, stuff like that,
So I don't know how many people you're thinking, but the place that immediately comes to mind for me is that's what Jennifer and Jamie are doing with the
old brewery.
Is it really?
Yeah, you can rent that thing out, and
they got a little party room in there. Mm-hmm. We talked about doing it possibly too out of town.
Yeah, we talked about going to Chillicothe or Columbus,
and just renting a banquet room and
at a
doing
hotel
it that
or
way.
something.
Just because you would have more options of people that could come.
Sure.
It's easier for a group to go there than it is one to come here.
Yeah. Well, and it would be interesting to see how many we could get there. I mean, I think we could do 100 people pretty
Well, if you invited just our guests.
Yeah.
Because we've had 160.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're number 162.
A lot of
163.
A lot of repeats though.
Yes,
so, I mean,
but there's still probably at least 60 or 70 plus ones.
I think if I'm 162, I think that my last time I was like 81 or 82.
Is
so
that
I mean,
right?
you've doubled up since then.
Oh yeah,
probably. Well, we've been up here. We were over there a year and a half, and we've been over here just 2 years.
2 years over here. And you were one of our first ones over here, I think, George, weren't you?
And first one in this set, right?
Yeah.
Brett?
You're breaking in this new set, right?
Yeah.
Did we do 2 years worth of podcast over there?
I think so. Yeah. Yep.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah, we did a year over there, and then I've owned this building since 21. So 2 years.
Yeah, he was one of the first ones we had here at this building. We were. Were you here when we were doing we were on talking about the goat and all that stuff?
Oh yeah,
yeah. We were going live and everything else.
Yeah,
that was a year and a half ago. Well, it was about this time last year, maybe.
I think
it's longer.
I think it was more like a year and a half to 2 years. I think Jenna was a freshman. She's a junior now. So
okay, 2 years. So you would have been right there as soon as we moved in over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we was trying. Tyler was still with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we was all
That
trying
was quite the rabbit hole to run down there. That goat stuff.
Oh my, it was. We'll fire that up again sometime when the community's ready for
Well,
it.
I think we're gonna have to break it down into decades. You know, you have to.
Well, I mean, I think that what we would probably want to do, since it's our opinion, I guess. So probably doing decades is a better way to go, because then you don't have to have that argument of, comparing the game from 1940.
Yeah, you can't. You can't compare the game from 1990 to now.
No.
And there's very, very worthy candidates in all of those different
I'm
areas.
sure there are. Yeah. And then the other challenge is really, I mean, from our perspective, if we're the ones and we're bringing guests in that, we're all our age. I mean, we don't give those guys a fair shake, because none of us ever really saw them play.
Yeah. Our dads' his age people have different opinions on who was the GOAT, where it seems like our guys were all right there within the same 4 or 5.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know George probably the same boat as myself. I mean, I started watching Jackson High School sports when I probably
85.
Probably earlier than that, early 80s.
80s.
Yeah. Because I was, in elementary school or whatever, and you'd go to the games and that kind of thing. But, what perspective do you have as a kid? You just remember, man, Al Collins was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But those were some good groups, right? Wasn't the 1980 and 81 and those?
Football wise,
right.
really good.
Yeah.
And what do you do football? I mean, do you do basketball?
See, that's the other thing that I think could be kind of interesting. You could do different focuses.
Yeah.
Because, that's another thing. When you start throwing in all sports, which it kind of needs to be all sports, I think. I don't know.
If you're throwing a GOAT.
Yeah. Or I don't know. Do you say, hey, football, boys basketball?
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, Morgan Dobbins could say, he was state champ. Karina could say, she's state champ. Yep. So, I mean, anybody that's state champ can say they were the GOAT.
Yeah.
Well, I think when we talked about it before, I think we were attacking it from the perspective of greatest athlete. And so a lot of times when you think of an athlete, it is multi-sport. It doesn't have to be multi-sport, but I think that we were kind of trying to one of the many qualifiers that we were talking about was how many sports did they play, how many letters did they get, those
I don't know whether we were on the right track there, like coming up with the
letter point
with a
system.
metric, which I don't know. I think that's certainly worthwhile, but
well, the metrics make it an objective science,
right?
So it's harder to argue with. Otherwise, it's just opinion-based subjectivity.
Right. And then we just sit here and yell at each other.
We gave a point for letters.
Yeah,
we gave a point, but you don't even know. Like, remember we had Morgan guessed at 17 or something, and
he corrected us.
Yeah, and he's like, no, it's 12 or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's all kind. It's just changed so much.
But at the end of the day, it's probably a nice combination of objective measure and subjective. Where
at the end of the day, it's 3 chubby drunk people.
Yeah.
But we could have like a whole survey of guests come in and keep a total and almost make it like a vote of everybody that was on.
Yeah.
But since that time, hasn't it evolved where there's some talk or discussion about maybe having a
Hall of Fame
or something like that?
But you know how those will be. I mean, and this is no disrespect to the one coming up. I don't know how they've got it. No, but I mean, what I've seen, I'm sure you guys see it too, in most situations, that really, I mean, your sports accolades will have a lot to do with that, but it's more just like what we're doing. It's a vote.
Hey, everybody. I want to talk to you about one of our special friends and friend of the program, Geiger Brothers Construction. Man, those guys have been with us since the start. Scott Massey, even though we're kind of hard on you sometimes, we sure do appreciate your sponsorship. And guys, if you own a commercial business and you need some contracting, engineering work, anything done, give those guys a call. 740-286-0800. Geiger Brothers. Thanks. Yeah. Well, I mean, so far, I mean, and no disrespect if I'm talking out of turn here, it really hasn't gotten off the ground.
Yeah.
To my knowledge.
Yeah. But they all seem to get kind of, I don't want to say political, but like.
Well, and that to me, that to me is if you're going to do it, it's very important to do it right. Mm-hmm. And you absolutely cannot have that, in my opinion.
Now, I think Vinton County takes like 10 a year.
Well, that's one way of doing it. But then I feel like that gets a little diluted.
Gets a little watered down. Yeah. Yep. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. I mean, like I've seen people, when you're ramping up, like let's say, we haven't had one here from the beginning till now. Maybe the first 2 years you bring in 10, but at some point you got to bring that back.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I don't disagree with that.
And you don't want to just have a bunch of dudes in the first class that are dead or old.
Yeah,
I mean, there's got to be a variance. Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't matter.
Yeah, dead or old. Or
yeah, yeah,
yeah. We're gloomy.
Yeah, well, I mean,
you still doing? You're walking in the mornings?
Oh yeah,
are you?
Yeah.
Smalley, what you been doing to keep it in shape? You're staying in pretty good shape.
Yeah,
you're lifting still.
Lifting at the Y, lift a little bit at home, and then a diet. Got to feel like every time I'm in here, I mention Bo, and but he kind of turned me on to this diet that he's done a few times, where he basically just
starves himself.
Cut out bread and cut out potato chips and cut out French fries and things like that. So I've adopted that for the last 6 or 8 months.
You like it?
I mean, for him and for me, it works. I mean, probably drop 20 pounds just by doing that stuff.
You know what? I don't know if it's my age.
I think that's the biggest thing in losing weight, dude. I mean, since I've been a diabetic, weight loss has been a lot easier for me. Yeah. I mean, because I can't eat that shit.
Yeah.
And, really, the stuff that raises your blood sugar is the same stuff that puts weight on you, man. Mm-hmm. So,
I've been having a real hard time getting my metabolism going, man.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, if it's just the winter time or
could be.
Even over tonight at boxing, man, I was just sluggish. Just
really,
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's not enough deep sleep or that could be. I've seen this new thing that guys are doing to help their sleep. I don't know if you have sleep apnea or not, but they've been taping their mouth shut.
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that advertised. Yeah. Those things.
I couldn't.
I think I'd get claustrophobic.
Well, they say make sure keep somebody there with you, and that way if you choke.
Shit, man. If there's like a warning, like, hey, make sure you're not alone. I mean,
well, but I mean, you're always going to breathe through your nose. But see, that's what they're saying. The breathing through the nose is what's key. They say you almost get like high breathing through your nose. That is where your air is supposed to hit your brain, through your nose.
I'll be darned. I've seen those like that. There's all kinds of contraptions now. That's something that I was wanting to do this year. I'm going to go get a sleep study, or I think you can do it at home now.
Your watch will do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I want something a little more intense, like to see if I need to strap on a CPAP. I mean, let's fire it up. I got no pride anymore.
Yeah. They're about the size of a cell phone now. Yeah,
they don't look that bad at all.
Yeah.
My wife got me a new Garmin for Christmas.
Ooh, which one?
Well, it's on the way. It's not going to get here till Monday. It got delayed and shit. But it's the Instinct 2.
Is it solar?
Yes.
Ooh, nice.
Instinct 2 solar.
Yeah.
And it's bigger than this one.
Okay.
These are a 45. It's a 50.
Okay. Millimeter.
I don't know.
Millimeter.
She had just heard me envious of Wiley's, but I mean his is like.
I think he's gonna pull the trigger on a bike.
I think he is.
He texted me today.
Oh, did he?
I've about got him hooked. You're next.
Man, I can't do it.
Yes, you can.
I mean,
now you're a motorcycle guy.
Yeah.
But you don't think you could do the pedals?
I don't think I want to pedal it.
Okay.
I mean,
these ones like Pudge and like Wiley's looking at, like Pudge and Hickey have, man. There's the pedal. I mean, it's a whole new ball.
You pedal. You have to pedal, but it's not like it's not like climbing the stairs pedaling. It's like you're like on a bike machine pedaling, and it just goes.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, obviously there's harder times. If you're climbing a hill, you're climbing a hill. But
I thought Wiley, when we were all sitting there in the pub the other day, you showed him that bike that was on sale in Gahanna.
That's the one he's
Hell, I thought he was going to run up there and buy it.
Yeah, that's the one he's looking at.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he said asked me to text it to him today. I said, "You're going to buy one, ain't you?" He said, "Yeah, I think so." So
we like bicycling a lot, but we go to bike trails like Athens or Columbus or Chillicothe.
hey, like that new 250, you like it pretty well. You like everything about it.
Yeah,
You have cruise, but
no,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so far, he's talking about this motorcycle, that Santa Claus brought me, and first time since I was 13 years old that I got a motorcycle for Christmas. That was the best Christmas of my whole life.
You couldn't wait to go out there and get on it, could you?
Lost my mind that year,
Yeah.
But
Hey, you know what? You told that story the other day, and I would like you to reset that. I mean, everybody has one of those stories, greatest Christmas present ever received.
Yeah, there is no second place. I mean, anytime that trivia question comes up, I'm like, well, it's Christmas in 1983 or whatever it was, and I mean,
you got your dirt bike.
And
Now, was that a situation, did you think you were going to get it, or was it a total surprise?
Total surprise.
That your parents shocked you?
Total surprise.
What was it?
They've been begging for it for, a lot of my buddies had them.
Yeah.
And, I've mentioned his name already. Bo had a couple of them, and I'd go over to his house. He probably thought that was the only damn reason I wanted to go to his house is to ride his motorcycles. And it certainly wasn't the case, but that was definitely a benefit of going over there.
Oh, yeah.
So we'd get on those bikes and ride everywhere and just, begging for years, please, can I have one? Can I have one? And got up that morning and there it was, in the basement. I just
Brand spanking new one.
Lost my mind. No, it was so again, that was I think it was a Christmas 83, 84. And it was a 1979 model.
Fairly new.
CR 125. They called them an Elsinore.
Yeah. Two-stroke,
loud, and just
Let's go, boys.
It was something else. And I rode that thing all over the county until I think we ended up selling it when I was in college.
Did you have to rebuild it? Back in those two-strokes, you have to rebuild the heads in them and stuff. That's the problem with them. That's what I thought the problem with two-strokes was. You always had to rebuild them if you're racing them and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I was never racing it. I just would ride it all over the farm and at friends' houses and all that kind of stuff. But that was great, man.
And you got the good out of it. It sounds like.
Oh yeah,
it lasted till you go to college. I mean,
yeah, rode it a ton and had a great time with it. And
so this year you get one.
Yeah, so this year it's 40 years newer, so it's a 2019 model, and bought it from Ryan Jones here in town.
Yeah,
and his son he got it for his son. He'd ridden it a little bit.
Yeah,
and real low miles, and so so fired that up, and it's been pretty cold. There was one day where I got out on it and didn't stop. Rode over 100 miles on it.
Oh my!
Basically
back roads
on a dirt bike on back roads, and you can ride well over 100 miles on a Harley, but on a dirt bike, I was feeling.
You'll feel that.
Yeah. You just probably stick them 40 to 50 mile trips from now on. Is what you're saying?
Well, I'll do it. I'd do 100 again.
Now, what do you like to do with that now? I mean, back road like that, or like, are you taking that thing off road, or what do you do? With
I would take it off road. We haven't done it yet, but we're flirting with it.
We've missed a couple days where we was going to go, but I'm going to take him out to Richland.
Yeah. Okay.
See what that's all about. I mean, I've only rode out there a few times.
Okay.
When we lived in Athens for 5 or 6 years, I got to be friends with this guy. He was the dad of a friend of Jenna's, and he was really into motorcycles and dirt bikes and all that. And so I'm like, well, I rode them growing up and all that. He said, well, would you go with me? I said, well, I don't have one. He's like, I got a whole barn full of them. So he's like, if you'll go, he's like, I'll set. So 7:00 on Saturday morning, he's there with a trailer and these brand new sparkling bikes there. And so we went out to Nelsonville at a trailhead for Wayne National Forest. and got on those things. He had the boots and the pads and the helmet and the whole thing. And we got on. He's like, "You ready?" Like he took off, and I'm like, "Well, now I'm
gotta go.
I'm committed now, man."
Yeah. And there he goes.
We're down the trail 100 yards, and he hits this, this 3 foot deep creek, and water's flying everywhere and all this. And so anyway, I got tested multiple times that day.
Did you have the courage for it, or did it take you a little bit to get used to it again?
No, I definitely had the courage to put it down a couple times, but
You're going to lay the dirt bikes down.
yeah, I mean,
They're made for it.
I wasn't going to sit there and watch him ride. But that was
You came to ride.
yeah, but that was a fun day.
I like it a lot better than the road biking. Now, I'd like to have another road bike. I just don't enjoy it as much as I do the woods. I just like the woods.
Road bike, you're talking motor. So when you say
Like
bike, I don't know
Harley?
if you're talking motorcycles or the bikes.
No, like motorcycles. Like if I was going to get another motorcycle, and I've had them, I've had several Harleys, but I would want I just don't have any interest in highway riding, like a cruiser. Now, if I was going to get one, I've thought about getting, I don't know. I thought about getting a crotch rocket, thought about getting a dual sport. Yours is a dual sport,
Yeah.
And that way I can at least drive it back and forth to work,
Yeah.
and just bring it in town if I needed to do something. Because my dirt bike, it's not street legal.
Oh, okay.
It's just strictly dirt. But I have no interest in like riding roads to go somewhere.
Had a crotch rocket at one point, a Katana 750.
Yeah.
I had that bike, and that was fun.
I wouldn't mind having another one of those.
I wouldn't want that now.
Man, those things are dangerous, aren't they?
Yeah.
I just want
their
to
turn
put
radius
around.
and
And, if you want to go 100, go 100. But I want to go 70, 90.
I don't like how the position of your body. You're all like leaned.
I'd like to sit there. I'd like to
over
feel
and all
it
that
now
stuff.
at 42 instead
Yeah.
of 20.
Yeah.
Last time I rode one, I was 22. And I had ape hangers on my Harley. I didn't like that. I thought it was it was comfortable, okay, but it was just
Yeah, I wouldn't like that either. I would like more traditional handlebars. and
yeah,
stuff.
So I'm not really in it for the looks anymore.
We took a great ride this summer. Stay at a hotel a couple nights.
Rode.
Just under 600 miles. Stayed within the state of Ohio, but that was really fun.
So
to
much
get
cool
out
stuff
there.
here.
Yeah, if you ride 600 miles, you kind of got to get out there and get after it. But we weren't riding on I-71 or we're basically on
93s and 139s.
We're on the 93s and 139s
Where'd you go?
in the world. So we went basically up to the Indian Lake area.
I don't know where that is.
Northwest Ohio, kind of up toward Lima,
Okay.
up toward Findlay, up that direction.
Toledo.
Not quite that far north, but in that direction. Yeah. And a lot of cool stuff happening around that lake. And spent the night up there in Bell Fountain. And then from there on day 2, rode kind of in a roundabout way, ended up in Marietta.
Okay.
Wow, cool.
And,
Nice little round
and
trip there.
spent the night in Marietta, and that's a
Cool town.
Yeah,
Oh,
Cool town.
yeah,
Man, I'll tell you that is.
Yeah.
If you've never been over there for like dinner and drinks and to spend the night, that is not a bad getaway.
Oh yeah,
man.
they've done a great job with their downtown, and credit to here. I see it happening here now, but they're just years ahead of us.
They are. They're ahead.
It's starting to happen here. I mean, there's a
Yeah, it
little
really
bit
is.
of it happening. I mean, it's behind, but it's starting.
Yeah, it's starting. It's like people are trying to. I mean, how many buildings down here have you seen reclaimed, man?
There's none of them empty.
Well, and all of them have apartments upstairs or Airbnbs.
There's one block.
and,
What's
you
his
know.
name? Got a bunch of them down there that they don't touch. But other than that, they're all full.
Yeah. I mean,
And I don't, we was talking about that this week. I mean, just like these old downtown buildings, how long can they make it? How long can these old buildings? These things 200 years old.
well, I think that what you're seeing is they're being upgraded to different degrees. I mean, some people, not pointing anybody out, not saying that any way you do it is wrong, but I think some people kind of put lipstick on a pig,
Yeah.
right? And then some people are going in and just structurally redoing
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Well, and it all depends on what your mess is.
Right.
You know, if your pig can be put lipstick on it, put the lipstick on the pig.
Yeah.
You know, but sometimes you got to jump in there and take it to the vet.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
God knows I've learned that lesson here this last year.
Yeah.
What's Abram doing this winter?
Basketball.
He's doing basketball. Rec?
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, I wasn't real excited about it, but my God, he's had a really fun year in basketball. Like, it's kind of weird, man. I feel like he kind of gets it a little bit this year. I don't know that he had ever scored a point in a basketball game, an organized game, prior to this year. I mean, maybe one or two in the whole season. Yeah. Heck, I think he's averaging 6 or 8 points a game, getting out there and banging a little bit.
You said this a while back, or somebody did. It was one of you two. Somebody said you're going to be like 4 more people. They're talking about our boys, our boys' age.
Yeah.
You got 4 more people to be.
Oh yeah, dude. They'll grow, and every year something changes, man.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what I've really tried to do, man. I really, during this football season, I really tried to sit myself down and say, hey, this is not you playing.
Yeah.
You know, just let him be a kid. Go out, do your thing. He'll figure out what he likes, and if he doesn't like any of it, cool. But I got to quit getting twisted around the axle and, like, you know, ripping his ass, like saying, "Hey, man, you know, if you're going to play, you're going to hustle." I mean, that's just who I am. I can't help it sometimes.
Well, you're also his coach.
Yeah. In football.
Yeah.
But see, now my days of coaching him are done, and I think that will be very good for him.
Oh yeah.
You know, to not have that.
What year did you bail out of basketball?
Sophomore, at the end of sophomore year.
Into sophomore?
Yeah.
You?
Yeah.
Well, he went all the way through.
You played all the way through?
He played all 3 all the way through.
Yeah.
I bailed out in 8th.
I was, it was a unique situation for me, man. I struggled a little bit my sophomore football season with a shoulder injury, and then went ahead and played basketball, and then played baseball. And then when I went into my junior year, I had this feeling that maybe I just wasn't quite as strong as what I should be. Like, I don't know. Like, I hadn't put on a whole lot of weight, and I mean, I had a decent junior year, but it was just, I got one, but here in a minute, I just kind of made the decision with myself, and, you know, our coach, George, Coach Blackstone, he was honest with me. He's like, "Hey, man, you're a tackle.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get a great benefit from going year round in the weight room." You know, he kind of just looked at me, made me look in the mirror like, "Dude, what are you doing?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you know, and that made a lot of sense for me. I mean, looking back on it, but I don't regret playing all 3 that far. Shit, nowadays, I kind of wish, well, heck, why didn't I just keep playing? I mean, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the time, though, you got to figure right out of high school. I mean, you ended up at Marshall.
Well, yeah, but
So, I mean, it obviously worked.
yeah, but, you know, did it? I mean, so what?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I think I'm taking the approach with him. Like, I've been driving him, and I want him to go to AP prep. You know, that was my plan for this winter. But then, man, by the time, you know, these guys, you got practice, you got games, then you got, now you start like baseball.
Yeah.
They're hitting or doing all that 3-4 nights a week. Then if I'm going to drive him over to Chillicothe, I'd have him in something 5 nights a week.
Don't do it.
I don't want to do that.
I texted you the other day, and I said about me and my son, didn't I?
Yeah.
I tell you what, my son learned more, and I may have said this on the last pod. And
oh my goodness. Just finished up with one of our favorite stops after football.
McDonald's.
That's right. Thank you, Brad and Sarah Munn, and all of our local McDonald's restaurants for being great sponsors here at the Chubbies. Chubbies, I still want to know how many points you got. I've got more of them tonight. Go to McDonald's. Help out Brad and Sarah Munn. They sure help out our communities. Thanks, Brad and Sarah.
in a morning of hunting, I got to know more about my son than I ever have probably in sports. And I'm not saying you got to take your kids hunting.
No.
But I'm saying, like, we took all technology off the table. We were hunting, yes, okay. but it was out in the wilderness, very primitive. Okay. And I think that's what people sometimes I think would get a lot out of, is sticking with something that's primitive. Let your kid let his mind work. Because whenever they're like this, their mind's getting occupied by that iPad or that phone.
Yeah.
You take them out, let's see what they've been learning, see if they know anything. See,
Right.
See if they, I mean, just like Gibson, he learned a few things. You know what the first thing he learned was pick your feet up. Otherwise, you're going to fall all day long. Okay?
Walking through the woods.
Yeah, walking through the woods. The second thing, pay attention to where you're at. Okay? I mean, he learned a lot of stuff about the gun safety and stuff like that, but I made him the second day get me back to the truck.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I'm lost. Get me back to the truck.
What a great lesson.
And I said, now, you know where the truck is. I told you to remember where it was. And I said, now, get us back there.
Yeah.
And I'd help him.
Sure.
You know, and I'd say, now, you remember you saw that, and it's over there, so we got to go that way. But, man, the reason I say that is not a sports versus hunting. It's a, hey, boys, I think all of us is driving them a little bit too hard.
That's why I checked. You know, I'll tell you what, I had a little bit of an opposite experience when it comes to the electronics and stuff. Here over this break, I decided, like, hey, okay, so he likes these damn games, you know, so
You start playing.
I need to that ought to be like, I need to make the adaptation.
Yeah.
Damn it, I'll play it. So I started playing Madden with him a little bit.
You're hooked.
Well, it was kind of fun, man.
Yeah.
And it really, man, it was touching because, man, he really enjoyed the fact that I was sitting there playing
Sure.
that with him. And I think that he thought, like, that old man, he doesn't know anything about video games. It's like, hey, bud, we did this shit when I was in college.
Yeah.
I mean,
AX and B still the same spot.
Yeah, the graphics are just better.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of fun with that.
The red arrow off the right tackle is the same play that it was.
Yeah. And I piss him off, and it was a lot of fun because, like, I still, like, you know, it's just like football, right? And the way I do football is we run it up the middle like about 20 times.
Yeah.
You know,
and then step back after he's blitzing every play and just drop a dime on him.
well,
30
and
deep.
he would get furious. He's like, I can't stop him from getting a first down. Would you just stop running the ball? Try to throw it.
Yeah, give him the same thing.
Yeah, it's, hey, get ready.
Yeah, pick a defense at will.
Get ready to eat. I'm not here to let you win.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there slow bleeding him on the clock, man. Running the clock,
ain't that good.
playing field possession, just punting him deep. You know, he's sitting there starting every drive inside the 5.
Yeah.
And, you know, see his buddies, man,
They fake punt.
well, they don't know, like, they don't really know the game.
Yeah.
You know, they don't really understand, like, hey, you run the clock and you get first downs, move the chains. Hey, guess what, Abram? If you don't have the ball, you can't throw those bombs on me.
But they want to score right now.
Oh yeah.
They want to do the flashy stuff.
Oh yeah. Little fake field goals.
Yeah.
You know.
Hail Mary on first and 10.
down.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. So I mean, we've like I said, I was really upset at the beginning of basketball season. Hey, no offense, Coach Morrow or any. I really wanted him to do something. I thought we could do some footwork and stuff this winter, and maybe
that's helping.
Maybe get ready. But hey, you know what? He's playing basketball. He's active. He's out running. He's
Got
liking
playing
it.
time.
All of his buddies are playing.
Yep, got plenty. They'll fix all that whenever he's a freshman, sophomore. They'll get all that under
Right.
after
Well,
he's fully
and
grown.
who knows, man? I mean, he might hate football. If I keep acting like I am now, he probably will. I mean, you know.
Those video games are no different than hunting. All I'm saying is, I think all dads need to take some time, and just spend with their kids.
Absolutely,
and not and I don't mean back and forth to a practice, back and forth to a ball game. I mean, I don't know. I see that, and and we all got buddies that do it. I mean,
oh yeah,
and we're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
But man, I tell you, I get some of the best moments just chilling.
Well, don't you think that there's something to be said though for not doing something every night?
Absolutely, you're slowing life down.
Well, and guys, I mean, maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but like, George, think back, like when we were that age, 5th, 6th grade and stuff. Now we played all the sports.
Played the big
there was
three.
Big league basketball, there's flag football, and there was baseball. Were we running to practice and doing stuff like that every night, or not?
I mean, I don't think we were prior to
like seventh grade,
being at the high school.
You didn't have any skill trainings like how they're starting baseball now.
No,
you know, camps.
No, dude. Baseball started the first day.
There was no off season.
There was no, and I mean, you've got that baseball group. They're already started, and I mean, a lot of them's been started for a couple months.
A lot of them never stopped.
Yeah, a lot of them never stopped.
And you know, the thing is, like, I remember when I was a kid, like there would be in the summer there'd be a basketball camp here.
I remember that.
Or like you go to one at Rye or something, and that's like a big deal.
Yeah,
I mean, now shit, there's something every day if you want it.
Yeah.
You know?
They're going to that what's that, next level athlete or whatever.
I don't know, but like if you think about it, I just wonder if there's any study that's been conducted or anything like that where they get to a certain point where they've had so many reps and done so many things before they're even 13.
I think that's why you're seeing the injuries.
Yeah, well, or like when you get to age 16 or 17, you get to the point where you're just like, hell with this, man. I don't even want to do it.
My boy's 10, okay, and he's already had 7 years of baseball. He's had more than not you, but as much as me and you did.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, you know, because we didn't start till third grade or whatever it was. But here he is, fourth grade, and already had 7 years in. So he's okay with his baseball career.
Yeah, he might be done.
Yeah, he told me, he's like, I don't want to play baseball. No, we'll see here in a couple months. But it's like, you know, he very well, like, I mean, and why wouldn't you? I mean, 7 years, 5 years is a long time at anything.
Yeah. What do you think about that, George? Do you think that we risk burnout with today's kids?
I feel like I've delivered this speech maybe more than what people want to listen.
Well, you're a college athlete,
and I think I've said it. I think I said it the last time I was here. Is I kind of like the situation where the kid is pulling on the parent's leg and saying, "Hey, XYZ starts tomorrow. Will you take me?" Or, "Hey,
yes,
I'd like to sign up to play basketball. Will you take me?" You know, not that everyone has to be like me, but that's how it was in my world.
Yeah.
My parents weren't pushing me to do anything. It was always me begging them, "Will you please take me?" So I lean more toward that. So when you're talking about hard driving, pushing parents, I agree that I think we live in a society of hard driving, pushing. Hey, I'm going to sign you up for multiple things, and I kind of like it better where the kid's asking for it versus the parents signing them up.
Yeah, I wonder, but you don't yield a better result that way.
And does it result in burnout? I think absolutely yes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you think about that, like with your parents. Let's say you didn't go and say, "Hey, could I sign up for basketball or baseball or X, whatever?" I mean,
yeah, I wouldn't have been playing.
Would your parents, like, they would have been just fine with you not participating in it?
Just fine.
Like it wouldn't have even dawned on them.
No.
So you, as the oldest brother, probably kind of influenced your younger brothers to play those things.
I mean, possibly, you know, not that they didn't have their own interests. Steven, for example, wrestled. I never wrestled a day in my life. So, I mean, you know, they did things that on their own, but yeah, you know, that's how.
But your parents, like,
they
would have never had the thought, like, "Oh man, we better get George out for that basketball team."
No, I mean, certainly not my dad, you know, because it's just not, he grew up on a dairy farm and, you know, that was his life. Mom grew up in town. And, so maybe had a little bit more exposure to, that kind of lifestyle and that kind of deal. And, you know, I think there was a time or two that, my mom maybe pulled up in a car in the hayfield and drug me off a tractor and threw me in the car and said, "Hey, it's time for practice." So, you know,
and your dad was like, "Where's he going?"
Yeah, what's he doing?
So, and, like, your dad's attitude was probably like, "Hey man, there's plenty to do here on the farm."
To do. Yeah. So, you know, full credit to my mom for doing that. But that's my general answer to that question is I just like to see it where the kids are asking the parent versus the parent telling the kid.
Like that.
I just had that first experience with Gibbon wrestling.
Yeah.
That's the first time that he said, "Hey," now he's asked to go outside and pass football. He's asked to go outside and play basketball, and a lot, you know what I mean? But I know what you're meaning. You're meaning like that. Hey, I want to play. Like, and I mean, like that whole, he's done that with wrestling, and I've seen a different energy with him with the wrestling compared to other sports.
Well, see, this basketball season is the first time that really Abram has ever, like, kind of went against the grain, or like we had talked about it a good bit during the fall that, like, you know, we weren't going to do basketball this year.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it like, hey, man, we'll probably take, you know, the month of January.
You were going to take November off.
Yeah, November, maybe a month or two.
Yeah, and then start at AP.
And then, do that like one night a week or two.
But you guys are you're either in that time period now, or you're entering into it.
We're entering.
Where they start to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, your kids will figure it out. Everybody else's kids will figure it out, because once they come together at the middle school and high school level, and they figure out who can play and who can't play, and who's sitting the bench and who's not sitting the bench, and whether it's fun or whether it's not fun, then you start to see the attrition.
Yes.
You know, of there's this many kids playing when you're in 4th grade, but once you're in 11th grade, there's this many kids playing. And that's happened every single year for decades.
77 or 40, 35 7th graders, and then by the time they're seniors, 7.
Yeah, or less.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, and the thing is, man, that hasn't changed
At all.
regardless of approach or parents pushing or anything. That is what it is.
that's what happens.
Yeah, and
I think it's everywhere,
And
too.
I look forward to that. I mean, maybe I shouldn't look forward to it, but, you know, my kid next year is essentially done with, like, little league sports. He goes to the junior high, and I kind of feel like that's where it does kind of separate out. Like, well, do I like this or not?
You know what the difference is? You probably have to try out, not for football, but probably for basketball and those type of things.
I'm sure they cut.
So that's going to cut out the majority of your Biddy League basketball program.
I believe that we keep in our junior high teams the last couple of years 15.
On 7,
which is a
and
lot,
8.
which is a
that's
lot for a basketball team. But I understand that, because they probably don't want to, you know, you never know. There could be a kid you're cutting that might wind up being.
But there probably is. How many 5th, 6th graders is down there in his basketball league?
Oh,
now?
Lord. I mean, you go down
40?
there on a Saturday, there's 400 kids down there, boys and girls.
You think there's 40 6th graders, boys?
Oh, I'd say at least. I mean, I think there's 5 teams.
So, and then they're going to get down to 15 next year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So,
And I mean, that's where I think, to George's point, they kind of start figuring that out on their own.
yeah.
And what I'm thinking is, I better get myself in the boat where I'm just going to be the supportive dad. That's a fan.
Yep.
You know.
The other side of that is, and my buddies and I have had a lot of conversations about this through the years. You know, when I was playing, we didn't win a ton of games. I mean, no matter what sport you're talking about. But as we would look around and kind of name people, we'd say, well, man, that guy should have been playing. And that guy should have been playing. And that guy should have been playing. And that guy should have been playing. Whatever sport you're talking about. And so there's that side of it, too, is that you have these kids that had the ability and had the skill, and, you know, why they didn't, I'm not exactly sure why they didn't.
Did any of those guys that didn't, this is my argument sometimes, I would be willing to say that in now, this is a tough deal. There is a big saying, but would you think that those guys that didn't play that should have, do you think that they maybe in life maybe come up a little short compared to the guys that played? It's hard to say, because
I don't know about that. I mean,
yeah, don't name drop or not. Yeah, but
I don't know.
But I'm saying, like, do you think that the sports helped a lot of you? Because I mean, you're a pretty successful guy. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I think at minimum where they would come up short is
memories.
If you sit them down and talk to them, they'd say, I regret that.
Yeah,
if I could go redo it, maybe we would all redo some
well,
things.
I think all of us, if I could go back, you know, we're just talking about, I quit playing basketball and baseball after my sophomore year. Looking at the net finish of that, I mean, I kind of would go back and talk to that 16-year-old kid and say, hey, man, you can get just as much out of participating in a sport as you can in the weight room. I mean, let's go.
Chubbies, hey, we all know this guy, all the folks over at AP Prep. We cannot thank you enough. Look those guys up at apprep.info. We get asked all the time, hey, what happens? How do you get over there? Hey, that's how you do it. You get on apprep.info, you look them up, you set a time for your kid's assessment. They schedule a time, you bring your kid over there, boom, it's done. They get you right in the schedule. And hey, for all you adults, you just show up on Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday night at 5:30, and they got their boxing classes. It's $10, or you can join by the month. So look them up at apprep.info.
But no, I think that I think that there would probably be a greater sense of regret from the guys that didn't do it, because thinking maybe they left a stone unturned, or I don't know. I mean, I don't waste a lot of time thinking about stuff like that now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't think these guys that I'm thinking of do either. They're not sitting around biting their fingernails off about it. But when you have a discussion about the glory days or whatever, a lot of them will say, "Yeah, man, I wish I'd."
Well, and I do think that the thing you can take away from sports, or hell, maybe any extracurricular activity, be it a play, the band, choir, whatever. I think that there is something to be said for the well-rounded human that it creates.
How's Millie
that you've done different things? Huh?
How's Millie doing in the band?
Loves it. She's ate up with volleyball in the band.
Okay,
and I'm really proud of her. She went out for the 7th grade volleyball team. And she just came up with in her head that she wanted to play volleyball.
Yeah, she just started like a month before that or something, did she?
Yeah. She did it all summer or all spring, and got cut. And so I thought, well, we're done with that, Nope. Then she wanted to join the league at the Y, and now she's been working still now 3 nights a week, trying to get better at volleyball. And she's finally developed an overhand serve. So she's like, hey, I'm going to try again. And if I get cut, I'll just try again.
That's awesome.
That's what it's all about.
And that makes me so proud of her.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's not coming from me, man.
Yeah, you're far away from that.
Yeah. Well, and I just want to, I feel bad for her, man. I mean, I'll tell you what, guys. I'll tell you what. Go, have your kid get cut from a sport. I'm telling you, that's a tough conversation, bud.
Yeah.
And I mean, she had prepared herself. And we had told her, hey, I mean, dude, that's going to be pretty tight.
Yeah.
And you don't have much I mean, I could watch her play this summer. She wasn't very good.
Yeah.
I mean, and
she's worked at it and she's found it.
Yeah. Well, and we're not the household that's going to be like, well, that damn coach doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, well, I mean, if you're going to do this, you got to keep working.
Yep.
So,
and we lived that volleyball world. That's competitive, man.
Oh,
those
my
girls
God.
get really, really
well, I mean,
good.
you had a lot of them have been on travel teams and stuff, and I'm like, Millie, you can't just walk in there and say, oh yeah, I'm in 7th grade now. Now I'm going out for volleyball. Well, shit, dude, a lot of these girls have been playing for 5 years.
10.
Yeah.
They have a big men's or boys volleyball. One of the teachers out in Northview, her son is playing in Columbus and he's 14.
I look for Jackson to have, or the FAC, or our area. I look for men's volleyball to come here soon.
Really?
I mean, it's in Columbus, big.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know that was a sport. He's playing club, but he's 14.
Yeah.
So that's that weird.
Most high schools in Columbus have it
as a sanctioned sport.
Yeah, men's volleyball. Yeah.
Okay, man. I love what we're doing with all these different sports.
Oh, I do too.
Belina's
a kid can find something, huh?
Belina Cooper's son played in college.
Yeah, he played in college.
Yeah.
And he must have played like club or AAU in high school.
Yeah,
but
he's big into it.
Yeah,
Kate.
Yeah, I think he's coaching at Rio Grande now.
I think so too.
With her, but
okay. Yeah, I love the whole bowling, the archery, the video gaming. I love.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you ought to be able to find something.
Yeah. Extracurriculars are good.
Well, I like to see kids be involved in anything, and like I always say, and maybe I'm full of shit. I haven't been called out on it yet, but I say be passionate about something. Don't just be a guy that goes to school and gets lost
through
in
the
the
day.
cafeteria. Yeah.
It gets through the
Yeah.
day.
And comes home and opens up a can of ski and sits in your room all night, you know.
Now that I can't have you cutting on ski though.
Oh, well, no, I love a ski. I love a good ski. Toughest thing on me was having to switch to diet ski, but
I'm doing the same thing.
but I've made it happen.
I told you, drop 20. That was part of it.
Yeah, there you
diet
go.
ski?
Diet
Oh,
ski.
yeah.
But hey, you know what? It's very serviceable. Now I think I prefer it.
No spaghetti, no bread, and no high octane ski. That's the
Yeah.
But how many beers you drink a day? You could sub him skis out for beers.
a day. Not per day.
You don't drink it? I figured you use a couple beers a day, guy.
Per week.
Yeah.
How many beers
I'm
you drink
more-
per week? 10, 12, 20, 30?
We'll go with 10.
10? We'll go with 10.
I mean, for me, it just varies on the week. I mean, it depends on what's
This
going
last
on.
week, you've drank a lot.
I mean,
bet
my
you've drank
God.
100.
I mean, I'll tell you what, that week between Christmas and New Year, I tested myself.
Yeah. Jenkins
You guys were a part of that.
hey, I was good.
That was a blast.
Yeah, I was good. I drank 2 beers.
That was awesome.
Hey.
Well, and that was a little bit arm twisting to get that done.
Well, the thing is, man, and I've noticed this, I greatly appreciate the group of friends that we have here, but and we don't do it often enough, probably.
Yeah.
But it is so fun to get a big group like that. When
it's no holds barred.
Yeah, in the pub or in a
in a
and
garage.
you don't really have anything else to do, and everybody just
you don't get
hangs
no
out.
bullshit.
No, everybody's hanging out.
You know what everybody is.
Yeah,
Everybody's coming at at a
nobody's trying to impress anybody. Man.
We're going to bust some balls. Nobody's going to get offended. We're all going to
Well,
move on
hey,
about
did
today.
anybody that day? Nobody was talking about, hey, man, I've had this job for X amount of years, or this or that. Nobody even talked about
work?
shit that wears you down.
Yeah.
I mean,
And there's groups that's all they want to talk about.
well, sure, man, and everybody goes through that. I get it. There's a time and a place for it, but like, I don't know. Getting to my age now, it's just fun to get in there with a group of guys and talk about everything and nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing that's extraordinarily important.
Oh, dude, I tell you what, man, I've almost done this brain reset,
Yeah.
and it's you talked about unimportant. Yeah. It's nice for things to be unimportant. I mean, it really is. Like I didn't realize how much like you need that every now and then. Just some unimportant, casual, nothing pressing, small talk stuff.
Now, don't you guys think, as you get older, or tell me, I could be in the boat by myself here. As I get older, I have noticed that you get a major shift in what's important to you.
Oh,
Or at least I've experienced that. Like, I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. We all have to focus on our careers. That's what you're providing for your family, right? But like, man, lending some perspective to that I didn't have when I was in my 30s and even my early 40s, to just be like, hey, look, dude, you know what? Everything's probably going to be all right.
yeah.
Just relax and do your best and stop worrying about that shit.
Yeah.
You got other stuff.
Sun keeps,
Have you
sun
experienced
keeps
this?
coming up.
Yeah, and I don't know if I articulated that correctly, but
No, you
like,
did.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
have you guys experienced that shift?
Yeah, I mean, you have to have a flow of funds from somewhere. So if that comes from your career, or retirement, or
something,
whatever, you have to figure that out in order to live. But to focus on other things like time and relationships and
Fun.
teaching lessons and having fun and hobbies and that kind of stuff. I think that as time goes on, we have a tendency to focus on that stuff more versus when you're young, you're willing to just run really hard all the time.
Yeah.
I did. I had 25 years of full go. From the day I got out of high school, I've worked. Not that nobody else. I mean, everybody does.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I was 2 and 3 different careers or jobs, I was all the time. I mean, it was nonstop. And at 42, 25 years later, out of high school, 24 years later, that the importance of now I've hit the point financially that I did everything I ever thought I was going to do. Okay. And I realized that that's not what was important. You know what I'm saying? So like I got into it, I did it, and I was like, well, I always thought that I needed that. Well, I really don't. Like I just need I need to take things and just let them be okay. And don't put the stress of the work life on you.
I think that you get some perspective. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I still work hard. I mean, hell, you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm still focused on that kind of thing. But I will say this:
you're going to wake up tomorrow.
Oh well, and guys, I mean, everybody's been through like ups and downs and things like that. But I mean, a lot of times you'll sit there now. And maybe you're worried about something that's going on or anything. And I sit there and think, man, 15 years ago, I was wishing and praying that I'd be where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Get off the hamster wheel, dude. Just,
yeah. Stick your head above water.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
there's light.
Yeah. Just have a little perspective.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
That's
maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I'm not telling people,
to
go out and get, hey, bud, just
do nothing.
Yeah. Just chill out. Everything will be all right. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Well, here's what I'm telling you. If bills and work and just life has you by the balls right now, then I'm going to tell you something. You need to stop and you need to regroup immediately, and it's up to you to fix it. Nobody else is going to fix it, but you can fix it.
I agree. I think that's a great thing. You've got to be willing to look yourself in the mirror and say, now, damn it.
Yeah, put the chips on you.
Yeah.
And say, hey, I'm going to fix this. And if you hate your job, quit it.
Yeah, get another one.
Get another one. That's right. Go get it.
They're hiring everywhere.
Or don't do it today, but make a 6-month plan. Okay, and say, you know what? By June, I'm going to have me another job.
Or break it down a little bit. I mean, the job that I have now, like it can get incredibly hectic. And then I'll feel like, hey, I'm on top of it right now, man.
It's got highs and lows.
I can see the punches coming, man.
Yeah.
It's going well. And then all of a sudden, but I think what a guy's got to get better at is just saying, hey, okay, it's going to get tight. We're going to be all right. You know how to fix it. Just break it down. Stay methodical. Stay focused on your family and the other things that are going on, your relationships, stay focused on that stuff.
Yeah.
And keep at this, Well,
and
if it gets to the point where it's stressing you out to the point where it's affecting your health, you got the wrong job.
Or your family. Like if you're sitting there on a Sunday and you're saying, my God, I work 24/7.
Yeah.
I don't get to spend no time with my kids. I'm broke. I don't do nothing. Well, okay. Then you know what you need to do? Family meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. And you need to identify what you hate and fix it.
Right.
I mean, that's the only thing I can tell people.
I mean, I've told people a lot. Like, I was talking to a guy the other day that was like, man, every Sunday night, man, I just start dreading.
Oh, I've been there.
Like, here comes Monday, man. I got to go back to work. I got to do this. And it hit me kind of hard. I was like, man, dude, that would be a tough spot.
Yeah, I've been there.
I mean, I can't say that I haven't been there, but I mean, not consistently.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that if you find yourself in that spot,
fix it,
and you're miserable, and it could be affecting your relationships and your health and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what, man? Maybe you need to start putting a plan together to do something else.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you're doing the wrong thing. Yeah. I don't know.
It's an easy formula. It's you present it so matter of fact, and it really is. However, I think for many people, it's not that easy.
Right, it
seems like it should be that easy, but it's just.
Do you think we're oversimplifying it, George?
I think I can't remember if we were on air or not when we were having this conversation, but earlier in the evening, we were talking about the educational preparation for different careers.
Yeah,
and
sure.
If you want to be an attorney, you got to go to law school. It's another way around it.
Right. You want to be a teacher, you got to get a degree in education.
Yeah. And so
Nurse.
I think maybe some folks who have gone down those paths and have studied and prepared for a certain thing, nursing, whatever.
Married to it.
They are more married to it, in my opinion, than maybe the three of us, who are more fluid and willing to just say, all right, I'm gonna
do this.
I'm gonna take a left turn and go do this. And I've taken right and left turns multiple times throughout my life. It's not scary. It's not different. It doesn't seem. No, because but I think for those that really had it in their mind that this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it for the next 35 years.
Yeah.
Even if they're miserable, they can't really picture.
They can't separate from
themselves doing something.
Here's
other than
newsflash:
that.
nobody likes to do jack shit for 35 years.
I couldn't agree with that more. I think it's a flaw.
I do too, because you're not going to show me anybody that is passionate 35 years later. I don't care who they are. You're not meant, and people are not programmed for those long haul.
Agree.
Haven't you guys found yourselves getting bored in a certain career path? I mean, I've been very fortunate in the fact that I've had several right and left turns. I don't think I'd trade any of them.
Yeah.
Because normally it opens up to something like, oh man, that's a little bit new. But I'll tell you what I find. I get at a position where I've been selling, I'm always selling something or what. The same thing for, 5 years.
Change.
You start thinking, damn, man, But to your point, George, and I hadn't thought about that. We're fortunate, I guess, in the fact that we're not really locked into,
more fluid.
Yeah. I mean, we can just say, well, we'll hit that on the fly. Maybe start talking to some people, networking a little bit. Maybe I'll try that,
Well, and you're not scared to, it doesn't show, your job, both of you could come in tomorrow and your employers could say, hey, sorry, you're out, pack your shit.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And neither one of you would. Now, you might be thinking, damn, that's a blow. It might last 36 hours.
Yeah.
And then within that time period, you're already going to have something else in the kitchen cooking. And something's going to happen. Where you take like and I don't mean to blast on our parents, but that baby boomers generation, they felt like you had to just get in somewhere and, well, don't you go nowhere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Don't you go nowhere. Oh, if you go somewhere, you failed.
Yeah.
Loyalty. Yeah. And I mean, in all three of us, I'm sure that was like burned into our brains. You got to stay. You got to do the pensions. Well, not if you understand pensions and 401ks. You know what? You know why? You can do it yourself. You don't need an employer to administer that stuff for you. It's not new anymore, boomers. We know how those work. And I think that's the main thing that the biggest difference between our generation and our parents' generation is they bred into us, hey, get there, stay there. The more time you get, the more money you're worth.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, in today's world, or at least in the business world or whatever that we're all subject to, I mean, I could very real lose my job tomorrow. Okay.
You could lose it before we walk out of here tonight.
I hope,
they could call you right now.
I hope I don't.
Yeah.
But you know what, man? I mean, I'm not going to panic.
Yeah. You're not going to blow your head off.
No, you're not going to talk me off the top of the building.
Yeah.
I mean,
and there's guys that you would have to.
I know.
And I never want to be that guy. Yeah. I'm done with all that.
Do you feel like there was a time, George, in your career path where you to some extent flipped to where you just weren't nervous about work anymore? And I don't know whether that's a confidence or it's I don't have any fucks left in my wallet. I mean, I don't know what it is. I think it's a confidence.
I think it's a mixture of both.
You feel like you know what you're doing, and I don't know. What did you have that switch?
Yeah. I mean, you guys have talked about it on this show. I'm not sure how far we want to go into it, but I mean, I went through a pretty tough deal. As tough as I could have, imagined.
Pretty big challenge.
A big challenge, and sun kept coming up, man. Yeah. It turned out fine.
Well, and you weren't as advanced in your career at that point.
That was early. And so the silver lining of that is, the one of many lessons that taught me is, really, no matter what happens,
Sun's going to come up tomorrow.
it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And so I just don't, I hope they don't call me before I go home and tell me that it's over either.
Yeah.
But I'm sure not going to go home and bite my fingernails off about it.
But you know why?
I mean,
now,
I'm just not going
I'm going to
to.
tie this all back in, and we'll shut her down and go get us another beer. But the reason being is because that's happened before. And now you're not worried about it a bit. And I said this last night. I said speaking of sports, I said I love this about wrestling. I said I would rather have a bunch of seniors that got their ass kicked as 8-year-olds.
Oh, yeah.
Because I said, boys, I'm convinced the learning is in the losing.
Oh,
And not that you lost, but I'm saying, whenever you have a hard road to go or something bad happens, you learn then. And you know what you learned? You learn, hey, I don't give a shit. The sun's going to come up tomorrow, and I'm going to get through this.
well,
we're going to do the right
business
thing.
business wins and losses are different than sports wins and losses, but I think that is something you can relate to as an athlete.
Yeah.
Like, you can get your ass kicked. You can lose your job. Your company can go bankrupt.
Yep.
I've been there, done that.
What are you going to do tomorrow?
All of them. But you know what I figured out though, man? It's not what the situation is, it's how you react to it.
Yeah.
And what you bring to the table.
Yeah. And losing your shit is never good.
That's a
No, man. Panicking? Huh. I mean,
Misery? Nerves? Nah.
you can make yourself as miserable as you want to be.
Yeah.
that's a that was Urban Meyer's book, wasn't it? E+R=O, and then you read that thing.
Yep.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, what is it? Event plus how you react to the event equals the outcome, and the R, the how you react, is really the magic sauce.
key.
Because you can't control the event.
I need to start reading books.
Yeah, if you can't control the event,
So
sometimes you can't control the result, but
but the reaction,
the reaction you can control.
yeah,
And there's always going to be a reaction.
Yeah. How you react to any, man, that's so much that you gain as you get older is reacting to adversity.
Different,
And
And the way you change. I had a chance today to react to adversity, and I took a deep breath.
yeah, you just,
well, that deep breath is a reaction.
I
A
just took
reaction doesn't have to be negative or
Yeah.
aggressive. That was your deep breath was a reaction, just the same as a punch in the face.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was your choice that you made was
Yeah.
to take a deep breath instead of
yeah.
punch somebody in the throat.
Yeah. I wasn't going to, but I had Eddie with me. And that guy didn't know Eddie was in the pisser. That poor bastard had no idea what he was about to get into. I didn't tell you.
He might have felt like fighting somebody. You never know.
Oh, Eddie?
Yeah.
All I had to do is just go.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
Suck him.
This guy thought I cut in front of him at Speedway. Joe Cawthon, he goes, "Hey, man," he said, "did you know I was in line?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "We just waited on you at the lottery machine for 10 minutes." And I said, "All I need is just banana and water." So I said, "Sorry."
Yeah.
And he just kind of looked out. I thought, "Oh, you don't know who's with me."
Yeah. Careful.
I got a time bomb back there to piss.
Careful. Yeah. You're just like, hey, bud. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the calm one.
Yeah. Your reaction is not going to yield a good result.
So I was like, I said, "Sorry, bud. I'm gonna save you today."
I'm glad it turned out.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
We got anything else? Let's wrap it up. Been an
Man,
hour.
I really enjoyed this one.
Did you like the set?
I do.
I got a little
do.
echo in my thing. I got to fix.
Maybe. What did you think of the set, George? You
I
like
love
this
it.
new
Yeah,
set?
I can't-
It's comfortable.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it, playback.
Yeah.
See what it looks like.
Yeah.
3 cameras now, no group shots.
Yeah. Be
All
good.
3 individuals.
I mean, Pudge is the only one that's really looked at the screens and seen it, right? We don't even know what it
we
looks
don't even
like.
know what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
Chubbies, let us know what you think. Oh, there's the one I'm looking at. Hey, let us know what you think in the comments there. So new set, temporary. We've got a major construction project going on. Out
Big
back.
projects.
Big
Big
projects.
projects. Hey, listen, let me remind you one more time, and I know you're tired of hearing us say it. Go to YouTube,
Spotify,
Spotify,
And Spotify.
Apple,
TikTok.
all of it.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe,
Follow.
to the Chubby Guys.
Yeah.
Follow
Follow
the
us on
Chubby Guys.
TikTok. I think we're going to make a shift towards TikTok.
Yeah,
We really like TikTok.
doing a lot more live content coming up.
Yeah, coming up.
But
As
we
soon as
need
get
you.
this done.
Yeah, we need you,
Yeah. Anything else? Thank you, Smalley.
George.
I'm good.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
George Smalley, ladies and gentlemen. First one,
guys.
2024.
Thank you.
All right. See you.
See ya.